Are you afraid to play ranked in Age of Empires 2? Does this sound like something that you've experienced at some point? Well, man up and get into the rank queue like the rest of us, bro. We're waiting on you. Totally joking. This video is actually pretty serious because this is a topic that I've seen kind of come up a lot in my streams. And yeah, I need to open up with a joke to kind of lighten the mood. But yeah, let's talk about some ranked anxiety for a little bit. Listen, I'm no psychologist, but I've talked to a few people and I know the ranked system pretty well when it comes to competitive gaming, and especially when it comes to AoE2. I know the system inside out. So let's talk about why people are afraid to hop into ranked, and I'll try to give you guys some tips on how to ease the process for you guys as well and get you from playing single player into ranked. I must first start by saying though that not everyone wants to play ranked, and it's totally normal to play campaigns, play with friends, or play lobby games. There's actually nothing wrong with that, and if you enjoy the game like that and don't have any ambition or any even eagerness to play ranked, that's totally cool. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise, because honestly, at the end of the day, we play for fun. But for those of you that want to jump into ranked, that are dying to jump into ranked, but just can't get yourself to press that button. In fact, you go into the ranked menu, you'd hover over join game, you'd want to jump in the queue, even lock in your favorite civ, you click that block civ so you get that civ for sure, you're practiced against the AI, you're ready, and then you just alter for the game because you can't get yourself to queue up and play some rank. This is actually a very normal thing to occur, and I've talked to plenty of people, and it's happened to a ton of my viewers and some of the people that I've seen around the community. Now, this anxiety, from what I've gathered, comes from like 3 things usually, and if I'm wrong or if there's something else that's kind of holding you guys back, definitely let me know in the comments. Also guys, make sure to stop on by my Twitch channel. August 1st to 26th, I'm hosting a massive tournament. I'll let my editor put up the 2 videos where I talk about it. One's a trailer and one's a 10-minute video with all the details for this tournament. It's gonna be a big event and I'm super excited for it. Would love to see you guys tune into the live stream, and you know, the more that people that come, the better the event, and if it's a successful event, I'll be hosting more of these tournaments. One every year hopefully would be the dream. So definitely stop on by. It's a fantastic event and I'm super excited to see you guys all there. All right, now back to the video. The first thing that I've noticed is that people are just straight up scared of losing games or dropping elo. This comes from a competitive nature, maybe an ego thing, but losing games is usually not a pleasant thing, and losing when the game is ranked and it quote unquote counts is something that a lot of people just don't want to experience. The second thing that is kind of a turnoff for ranked is the fact that the stats are permanent and it's public. So if you jump in there, it looks like a permanent thing on your resume and there's no way to change it. So people are hesitant to jump in until they're ready because they don't want to ruin their stats and have that permanent loss or that permanent damage to their stats, and so they kind of delay going into ranked for as long as possible. And then the third thing is that ranked is just simply too competitive for people. They think that they're gonna get stomped on the ranked ladder, that there's no one there for them to play, and they're just not gonna find people at their level because they don't see themselves as like this super competitive person or this someone that has the drive to like push through and grind that ranked ladder. And the reality of it is there are ways to overcome all of these 3 points. In fact, there's a lot of counter arguments to all of these 3 points, and in this video I'm going to go ahead and present them. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is actually because I heard a friend of mine, his name is Hart, and he streams regularly on Twitch. He's actually a pro player and he's really high up in the rank ladder. I'm going to go ahead and link his stream in the description below, so if you guys want to check him out, give him a follow. Super cool dude, always playing high level ranked games at night. You guys can go check him out and say what's up. But he said something on one of his streams that I was watching, and it really caught my attention. I think it was a great thing to put out there, and I'm going to share it with you guys, but I want to give him credit, of course, because I'm not in the business of taking someone else's words and claiming them to be mine. So what he said was very interesting, and it was basically understanding that you will lose 50% of the time. So hear me out. And this is again what he said, not me. He said, if you're anywhere in the ladder that's not the top 0.5 or top 1%, we're talking like the pro players, you will naturally lose 50% of your games. The system is designed to make you lose 50% of your games. Think of it logically. If you're the best 1k elo, you're coming into the rank ladder, you're the best 1k elo we have, you win games until you hit 1100. Wow, you're a prodigy. You prove to be the best 1100. You climb all the way through 1100 till 1200. As you can see, the game will always match you up against someone better than you, because that's how the system works. If you win against 1100s, you eventually climb and start to play 1200s, and it gets to the point where you will match someone who is better than you, or who can at least be even and take some games off you. And so no matter how hard you try, you will always have a 50% win rate until you hit the very very top. Like for example, me and some of the other like 20, 30 pros that we have on the rank ladder, maybe even up to like 50, where if you're queuing at a certain time, there might not be someone better than you, and you'd have maybe a 70% win rate, maybe a 75% win rate, for example. But obviously it's a very small minority of people and very small percentage of people, and you know, those guys have no issue on the rank ladder anyway, so no point to really address them much. But as you can see, for the rest of the people playing, whether it's this game or any other game that has a similar system, you're always going to have 50% win rate. And so when it comes to dealing with losses or the fear of losing, just know that it's going to happen. So my advice, and again, this is also what Hart was saying as well, is that you need to understand how to lose. And that is a much better idea or much better concept to grasp rather than trying to avoid losing. Now, here's the thing, whether it comes to life in general or competitive gaming, losing always has that bitter feeling. Trust me, I know it more than anyone else. I felt losing when the stakes are super low, but I still don't like it because I'm competitive. And I felt losing when the stakes are super high. In fact, I lost almost 45,000, actually 45,000 to Tato in Red Bull Wololo Legacy. And I lost it, and that was a very bitter feeling. But when it comes to the rank ladder, there's nothing actually on the line if you really think about it. And so we should take the lessons from the loss instead of just keeping it as a loss itself. Think of it this way: whether you win or lose a game at lower levels, at pretty much any level, you will do something wrong and you will do something right. And so the idea is to treat every game like it's a learning lesson. Whether you win or lose, you're gonna take something out of it. Whether you take the fun aspect of it and you had a good time, or whether you take the fact that you could have done something a little bit better and try to work on that and improve it for next time, or whether it was something that your opponent did that kind of caught your eye and it was interesting and you might want to give that a go. That is a much better way to look at these games rather than just a win or lose, a yes or no. When you look at it from a win or lose perspective, you think that there's everything to gain from a win and everything to lose and nothing to gain from a loss, when in reality that's completely false. Accepting the fact that we're losing 50% of the time allows us to take our losses in a more positive light, knowing that they're gonna come for certain and that we just need to make the most out of them instead of trying to avoid them and thinking of them as something terrible that's gonna happen to us and we better not go anywhere near it. This kind of mentality will help the people that are scared to lose or scared to queue up in fear of losing, whether it's ELO or games, and it hopefully can give you guys that encouragement to go in there, understand that it's okay to lose. In fact, you might lose a lot of games, but what's going to happen, you start at 1,000 ELO, you lose a lot of games, you go down to 700 ELO, and remember, this time it's in your favor. It's going to always balance out to whether it's a 50% win rate. So you'll start to win games at 700 ELO, and you'll eventually climb again. The game will always balance itself out to where you'll always have a 50% win rate. Now, over 1,000 games, it'll always go back to around 50%, but at first it might be a lower percentage because you're just starting out, and that's okay. Remember that losing is something that will happen. Just gotta know how to handle those losses instead of treating them as something that is a total failure or a total net gain of 0. The second thing I want to talk about is the fact that the stats are permanent and it's public, and some people just don't want to, ruin the numbers or ruin the stats. Another common thing that happens, I know you guys do this, is you guys will hit a new record, 1400, and then you guys will stop playing for fear of losing that because you want to keep that record for a while. Listen, that's totally cool, and I actually encourage you guys to hit a new record, tell people about it. I always see those Reddit posts of like people celebrating the fact that they just got 1,000 ELO or 1,400 ELO. I see people celebrating in my Discord. That's good. I encourage that, and I talked about it in the video where I hit 2,900. It's good to talk about your own achievements and be proud of them. As long as you're not obnoxiously proud or like arrogant or looking down on others, that's obviously over the line. That's something you shouldn't do because that doesn't really build yourself up. But if you're proud of something you achieved and want to share it with others, that's definitely something good, and I recommend that because it gives you like a good feeling of satisfaction, and it kind of lets you share that joy with other people, and that's kind of a good sense of community building in general. But yeah, let's say you're afraid of having the stats be ruined publicly, or you're trying to camp in ELO and you're afraid of it getting ruined. My best advice there is that once again, we have to understand that whether or not the stats initially get ruined, or the goal that we hit of 1,400 or something like that, we're gonna lose it and we might not gain it again. This is just simply not a correct way of thinking. It always balances to 50%. So even if we start out by losing, you can always play more and get it back to where it should be. And listen, if you're gonna play on the rank ladder and you're scared to like be a forever 800 ELO, well, then you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not having fun playing rank ladder, that's totally cool. Just stay away from it. But there's really nothing wrong with trying to play, getting to 800 ELO, and then just working your way back up there. A lot of people don't know this, but I started at the equivalent of 800 ELO. When I started, it was on a website called Voobly. We started at 1600 as a starting ELO. I went down to 1400, and I worked my way back up. In 2 years, I was at 2K4, which is basically the top of the ladder. And I experienced the same thing at a 50% win rate, and I climbed so slowly. I celebrated every 100 ELO I got, and I actually told my friends back in the day about it. I felt really accomplished. I felt happy about it. And eventually that just led to an overtime improvement and a climb that took, a little bit of time, but definitely was a fun one. And I actually really enjoyed doing that. I think that's something that a lot of people should wrap their head around as well. Don't look at the short term where you're just going to play a few games and your stats are permanently ruined. Look at the long term. If you want to jump into ranked, go for it and think about how your stats will look like in 100 games. Once you play those 100 games out, if that's something you even want to do in the first place, again, it's not for everyone, but if you guys want to try it out, look for the long term, see how the stats look after 100 games, and then analyze the situation. Are you having fun? Are you enjoying it? Do you want to go for like another 100 games? Do you want to continue playing? Or have you decided that it's simply not your thing and you'll move back to whatever else you're doing to enjoy the game more? That's, in my opinion, a much better way to look at it, because what tends to happen is people play a few ranked games, they're losing naturally because the barrier to entry is actually very high. 1,000 yellows are solid and they're going to beat most newer players. And so a lot of people lose the first few games, get completely discouraged, and they don't realize that eventually they'll start winning once they hit their actual level. Remember, the point of the ELO system is to match you against someone that's your equal skill level. It's to give you a fair game, and a fair game is usually a fun game. So it has literally nothing to do with how good you are or what your rank is, although those things are measured through ELO. ELO at its core is simply meant to give you a fair match. It literally doesn't do anything else in the system besides that. And so once you grasp that concept, it's going to be a lot easier for you to think of the ranked ladder as just a fair 1v1 or team game system that you can queue up and get an evenly matched game and hopefully work on your skills, test some build orders, or just test your skills against some people that are around your level. And the last thing I want to touch about is the fact that the ranked ladder is too competitive for some people and they don't want to get involved because they think they'll lose a lot and people are like super good or super competitive. And again, I kind of covered why that's really not the case. That might be the case at first when you start playing against people that are stronger than you. Eventually you'll fall down the ranks and find people that are exactly your skill level with exactly your same mindset. So no matter where you're at the start of your ranked journey, you're gonna find people around that level, and it's totally fine if there's a little bit of a drop before that happens. In fact, that is the natural thing. It's very unnatural for you to hop in and start winning. And even if that were the case, remember, it always goes down to 50% anyways. If you start winning, you're gonna start losing eventually. So what's the difference if you start losing and then you start winning some later? And remember, not everyone on the ranked ladder wants to become a top player and is a sweaty, like grindy, just everything they do is to win. Not everyone's like that. A lot of people play ranked ladder just to chill and find those fairly matched games and evenly matched games. And so even if your goal isn't to become some like top expert or that you really want to play like a super competitive environment, there's probably something for you on the ranked ladder. It's just a quick queue that you can hop in, play some in your level, and a lot of times you can meet some really cool people just by chatting a bit in the game, saying good luck, have fun, and seeing where the game takes you. So overall, I hope I covered some of the things that kind of hold people back from queuing up on ranked. And it's definitely a harder topic to consider, to talk about. And by no means am I an expert in psychology or anything like that. Again, if I'm wrong on anything I said in this video, definitely feel free to correct me in the comments. If there's anyone that knows more than me in the areas of psychology or whatnot that can give us further insights, also feel free to give your input in the comments. I and many others love to hear it. And if I missed and any reason that you guys aren't queuing up or you guys don't want to hop on the ranked because of something I didn't mention, definitely let me know that in the comments as well. So it's really just a video I wanted to make to encourage you guys to jump into the ranked ladder. And if you guys are scared for whatever reason, I hope I can give you, or I gave you a few alternative point of views that you guys can consider and make up your own mind. Once again, I'll end the video by saying this game is amazing fun for everyone and there's a ton of ways to enjoy it, from campaigns, playing with friends, single player, etc., to the point where it really doesn't matter how you enjoy it. You guys do what you enjoy the most, and that is the best way to go about it. But hopefully, like I said, this could, encourage people to take that extra step when there was really nothing holding them back besides their own mind. Thank you so much for watching, and like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.